Hello all you wonderful, beautiful, and craptastic people. CraptasticJack here. Today we're going to be talking about the next update for the Crew 2, the next planned update, which is Kings of Mayhem. Now, not really much is known about this next update, aside from the fact that it's called Kings of Mayhem, and aside from the fact that PvP is coming out. Now, they did announce a while ago when they first announced the content plan for the rest of the year for the Crew 2, they pretty much stated that with every new update, they're going to add one new discipline and a bunch of new content. So, with the Crew next update, the Crew 2 Kings of Mayhem, we all know we're going to be getting another discipline alongside PvP. So, with PvP in mind, we all know PvP is coming out. Really, the question really boils down to what Kings of Mayhem is really going to deliver for us aside from PvP, and what we're gonna get in terms of PvP altogether. So yeah, that's pretty much what we're gonna be talking about today, and I actually do have a lot of different perspectives from you guys as well that I'll be sharing with you guys in just a bit, because I finally have YouTube finally granted me permission to use the community tab. So fuck yeah, I'm gonna be using that to all it's worth. So yeah, I got that coming for you guys in just a bit, but without further interruptions, let us begin. So, this update, I'm really skeptical about it. Gator Rush was pretty garbage, I'm not gonna lie, I just didn't like it. For a big-ass update that was hyped, I don't feel like it delivered at all, especially with the hovercrafts. The hovercrafts were just a pain in the ass to drive and get used to, and you had to tune it before you could actually, like, use it in order to actually succeed. And with the AI bumping you all over, there's no racing line, there's no nothing, it's just it's some people might find that fun, but I just don't, and I know a lot of you guys don't as well. The ace mode, okay, cool. It makes the cars or AI have more rubber bandiness. Okay, what I don't like about that is you don't get gold parts for automatically winning the ace mode events. You should get a gold part regardless, but I already ranted about that in my two last videos I just had, so we're going to talk about what's going to be happening with this one. So this next update kind of needs to blow our socks off, if you know what I mean. It needs to rock our socks off. So I really think that's not going to be the case, though. I want it to. I want there to be a good amount of content for this update, but at the end of the day, I don't think there will be. Now, what I think and what I want are two different things. What I think is going to be is just judging from the title alone, I think it's gonna be just not monster. It's something with either to do with monster trucks or Demolition Derby. More so the Demolition Derby aspect. I have a feeling Demolition Derby is going to be what they're gonna be adding to the next game, and this is really odd because the damage physics for this game, the damage model, it's next to non-existent. You go into a wall 200 miles an hour, your car just has a couple dents on it. So really, it's just non-existent. So I don't understand how they're gonna do Demolition Derby with any sort of correctness, and that's not really a good word, but how they're gonna do it, how they're gonna do Demolition Derby well if there's no crash physics. The only way I can really see them doing Demolition Derby is if all the Demolition Derby cars, and for like a Demolition Derby spec, they're all non-licensed cars, because I know why. Like the cars you can't really scratch up is because the cars are all licensed. But even then, games have done damage better with cars that are in this game, but also like Payback, your car gets fucking, like the windows are smashed and everything, the car looks like shit with like the licenses and everything. Same with Forza. But so in the Crew 2, I don't understand why it's just scrapes and bumps and bruises. But I have a feeling the only way they can really do Demolition Derby with any sort of justice is if they have their own cars separated for Demolition Derby and they're all unlicensed. That's how they do it with the hot rods. The hot rods are not licensed in the game. And you can see there's a lot more customization for like the hot rods and everything than there are for, say, the Ferraris or anything, where there's next to none. So I could see them doing it that way. But at the same time, I really don't think Demolition Derby is what this game absolutely 100% needs right now. So adding it in is just going to further take development time away from adding in features which the community wants. And I'm going to feel that way for a lot of what they add, probably, with all the new disciplines. They pretty much already came with this whole content update plan. So, but the next year they have the opportunity to start anew. They have the place where they can just begin starting anew and doing what they want, in a sense, so they could change up the content release schedule for the new year, which I feel like is what they should do, because with this update adding in a new discipline every 3 months, that just takes development time away from, say, adding more events into already existing disciplines, because there's already enough disciplines. There's a shit ton of different disciplines, and if they flush all those disciplines out, then there's gonna be a shit ton of content to do. But they really need to focus on adding more content for already existing disciplines and all new game modes and everything for already existing disciplines than adding new disciplines altogether, because with Gator Rush they just added another discipline that has like only 10 races. There's not much in the scale of content for that discipline. It's not flushed out enough. But if they go in and flush, say add more hovercraft races, add more street races, add more all that, this, that, then I'd say that's what they need to do. And that's really what they need to do with all the updates going forward until we have a really flushed out game with all these different disciplines. But going back on topic, Demolition Derby, it'd be cool to see Demolition Derby at some point in the game. The point is, it's not now though. I'd like if I saw this like a year later where everything's flushed out and they could take an update to just focus solely on adding in Demolition Derby and flushing it out all with the update, go ahead, do that. But with this update, they have what probably gonna be Demolition Derby or something related to that, or Mayhem-ish or whatever. But then they also have PvP coming out, so they're focusing on two completely different things in one update, which is really something I don't think they really should be doing. You know, when it comes to an update, focus on like a certain spec of things. Like for example, have an update where they add all these different types of races for all these different disciplines, or have an update where they're focusing on adding cop chases and everything's focused on having cop chases, or something like that, or faction missions where everything's focused on factions. Don't have updates where like half of it's focused on one thing and then half of it's focused on the other. That's kind of what Gator Rush is. Well, half of it was focused on Gator Rush and the other half was focused on like ace parts and all that. So, and that's what this next one's gonna be about. It's gonna be focused on whatever the hell Kings of Mayhem's about, and the rest is gonna be focused on PvP. And that scares me because PvP really kind of needs to be fleshed out, like on launch. Because why are we waiting 6 months for PvP to come out if it's gonna be bare bones? Okay, that's not. If it's bare bones, I'm gonna be very, very, very pissed off. Okay. Why are we waiting 6 months for a very bare bones PvP mode, where if it's bare bones, it should have been released at launch? That doesn't make much sense. What the fuck were they doing for 6 months to wait for PvP to come out in December if it's just gonna be bare bones and nothing really to it? That really, really disturbs me. So I'm really confused. I'm really sussed out, if you know what I mean. With PvP, what I really want PvP in the next update, what I want it to be, you have it so you have air racing, you have air acrobatic stuff, all the airplane stuff, that's focused on the one thing. You have a mix of those, or you could do each lobby separate. Or say you have boat racing, where you can have boat racing separate between the different disciplines with boat racing, but you can still all mix them together, etc, etc. And then you have the asphalt racing and the dirt racing, where you have different lobbies for just asphalt racing, for different street races, for just hypercar races, or you can mix those together, one for party game, etc, etc, etc. I want to be able to go into a lobby if I want to do just one certain thing, and be able to find a lobby where I'm just doing that certain thing, if you know what I mean. But then if I want to do something mixed, or say like do whatever the fuck, then have a lobby for that as well, where I can just do anything. It's all random. I want it to be really, really worked in, so where I could just do anything. Like anything I want to do, I can go through it. I don't want it to be like the Crew 1, where I want to do I go in doing one to do street racing, but all that gets picked are party games. Like have a lobby for party games as well. Do that as well, and keep that separate from the competitive and all that. Because I don't like losing my competitive rank because I lost a crown, when I really just want to race. So have lobbies for that, where I just want to race. Have lobbies where I want to do party games, etc, etc. Flush that out. Alright, so now let's move on to what you guys had to say on the matter. Alright, so basically I asked all of you guys in the community tab down below. I'll be doing this more often for more discussion videos. I'll be trying to get your take on, especially when we talk about Need for Speed 2019. I'll be asking for you guys different input on things. So I asked there the other day, what do you guys think about the next update for the Crew 2? Do you think it'll be good? Do you think it'll be bad? What do you want? What do you think's gonna happen? Etc, etc. And Blue Baru at 90, I apologize if I'm saying that really bad. Blue Baru at 90 says, oh, it'll be crappy. It will have way too many flaws, just in my opinion, like Gator Rush had a lot of flaws. Braden Tilly, I apologize if I'm saying that wrong, says we just need something. And Henry McDermott, again, I'm really bad with names, I apologize. I just want to be able to have races in street race but we will probably get another crappy discipline like the hovercraft one. I think that's, in my opinion, we're probably gonna get another half-assed discipline as well. That's personally my opinion, but who knows. Marshmallow says, I'm thinking of something like Speed Cross from Payback, which is quite an interesting thing to have. Now, I'm not sure if this is what he wants or if this is like what he thinks the next update's gonna be, but if it's something like Speed Cross, I could get behind that again. However, if they were to add any disciplines, it'd have to be after they flush out the rest of the game. But seeing something like Speed Cross, because I like the Speed Cross update from Payback, I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed it. So seeing something like that in the Crew 2 while fleshed out and everything, I feel like that could be really cool. No Labels Music says, well, I think that we're all getting PvP, obviously, but seriously, I don't think it's gonna make anything that will make us pour hours into the game, which is quite an interesting observation, despite the fact PvP's coming out. And I've said this time before, and I'll say it again, I don't think PvP is gonna save this game alone. PvP alone will not save this game. You also have to add in the faction missions, you have to add the cop chase, you have to add all the different elements of what made the Crew 1 make people stay around. Like, what's it called? The Summit. That kept people with the weekly challenges and everything, like monthly summit and everything. That kept people coming back. That kept me and my friends coming back for a long while. And then calling on units with the bait crates and everything. That kept me coming back. So it needs more than just PvP to really save the game. So, because for some people, PvP is not really what they want out of a racing game. That's not the save all. So PvP might not even, especially if it's like I said before, just bare bones. I'm not gonna be coming back to that, you know. So again, who knows? This guy, he doesn't believe that it's gonna keep us coming back, which is a pretty fair observation to have. Up next, we have Mick saying Demolition Derby, Drift, Quarter Mile, Drag events, Toge, just to name a few. Which I'd really like to see some Toge events and some Quarter Mile drag events. I'd like to see some more of those. Toge events, there are a shit ton of Toge-worthy roads in the game, especially up in the north. I have no idea why there aren't any, especially when the Crew 1 had a lot of Toge events for the wild run, so I have no idea why they don't have them in here as well. But it'd be really cool to see some of those Toge events, especially where like you're racing through the mountains, you have to stay close to each other, like a cat and mouse stuff. I'd really like to see some of that, because there are some roads in this game where you can really do that, and I feel like that would be a great addition to the game. And then finally, Papa Bear says mini games for monster trucks like soccer and football. There was an image from a long time ago showing a monster truck playing a game. I know I expect some sort of Demolition Derby, but the lack of damage mechanics is why it's unlikely. But moreover, they need to fix the actual gameplay problems, especially navigation. Again, the navigation I know is a really hot topic for this game. I know a lot of people want it, me included. So why they're being so... And this is where I get my idea of how Ivory Tower is pretty stubborn. How they'll go and add planes, boats, and everything, but... which weren't really big fan requests to begin with, but then a big fan request of something that people want back, like the line. Like, you could tell they're being kind of stubborn, where they're like, oh, well, we wanted you to look at the road and everything. But like, no, like, people want that back. So how they're being really kind of stubborn about it, and how they're having like internal discussions and everything, it kind of makes me believe that they're really stubborn. So really, stuff like that, how stuff like that's been really slow to come out. It's been like, what, 4 or 5 months? And for waiting for something like that to come out, that's pretty slow. So yeah, that kind of reinforces my idea of how Ivory Tower are pretty stubborn when it comes to developing their games. But that's pretty much all for the comments that I had. I know there's some more, I didn't get to mention all of them, but if I did, this video would be half an hour. I don't want to do that. But that's going to be all for now. What do you guys think the next update, Kings of Mayhem, is going to be? Do you think it's going to be good? Do you think it's going to be bad? Leave your comment below in the description. If you have any more ideas for videos, especially on the Crew 2, be sure to list them in the comments below. But that's going to be all for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good one, guys.